Community standing up for the rights of Jimmy Kimmel and all people who speak in public, entertainers and we're journalists and all of them, and it worked at least with the head of Disney, and it makes good sense because they would have won in court. One thing that gets lost in this: you do not lose your First Amendment rights because you have a broadcast license. The Supreme Court has been clear on this. The government cannot take your license because of speech they don't like.
The liberal media coming to the defense of Disney and their decision to allow Jimmy Kimmel's show to go on. Let's bring in political media personality Emily Wilson and political commentator Brilyn Hollyhand. Thank you both for coming on. Brilyn, to you first. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel has the right to say whatever he wants, but he does not have the right to say whatever he wants on ABC. That's the catch of this whole thing. What do you think about that comment?
We were spot on, Trace, and Jimmy Kimmel's return is good news for small businesses all across this nation, as I think the liberals were prepared with their pitchforks to start rioting and looting some of these downtown major cities if we saw this vacation for Jimmy Kimmel continue any longer. I was actually rooting for ABC here. I thought that this was going to be finally their clean opportunity to wash their hands free of Jimmy Kimmel, who has been wasting them millions of dollars for the last decade. Genuinely, Disney makes better views off of Mickey Mouse reruns than they do off of Jimmy Kimmel's tapings every night. I mean, this is an unfortunate state in the country right now, but I guess we'll see Jimmy Kimmel back on air. Ratings plummeting tomorrow night.
The interesting thing about this is that now he's off in 38 major cities across the country, and you think ratings were down a couple of weeks ago. Wait until you see what they are a couple of weeks from now. Kamala Harris made her first big national interview tonight on the Rachel Maddow show, and she said this about the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. Watch.
I mean, talk about the power being with the people and the people making that clear with their checkbooks. As it relates to the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. We saw the power of the people over the last few days, and it spoke volumes, and it moved a decision in the right direction.
Kind of makes me happy. I can't really still understand exactly what the point she's trying to get at here, but she's trying to think Jimmy Kimmel's making a bunch of money and that ABC's got to put him back on the air. They're going to lose money. He's losing money. The show is losing money. Emily.
What I love about her is she just says a whole lot of nothing every time she talks. I know she's coming out with, I think, her book, 170 Days or whatever it is, and I was like, I bet there has never been a ghostwriter in history that has been that stressed out, because she can't even make a coherent sentence. I know she is not writing a book, but it's so funny. They actually, Trump personally took him off. I also think it's funny because what about the left when they're like, eat the rich? I'm like, he's worth like $50 million, you guys. If there's anyone you should feel bad for, it's not him. His rating, you know, he's not funny. His ratings aren't good. And also, like, no one violated anything. Trump did not go attack him personally. I just think it's so funny. He's just not funny. No one wants to listen to him or watch him anymore. It's very simple.
I think he's worth a lot more than $50 million. You got to be worth a couple of $100 million. Been doing it for a long time. Brilyn, back to you. Kamala, she can't go on a national show and not comment about the president of the United States. Watch.
Right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up. And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear.
If you're looking for original content, Brilyn, you got to look to Kamala Harris, because calling Trump a dictator is I haven't heard that before.
You know, I am fed up, Trace, with the Democrats telling us to turn the temperature down in this nation and then continuing to compare Republicans to Hitler. This is what got us into this position of the country today. But I want to be extremely clear that every single time that Kamala Harris opens her mouth, the Republican Party gains more voters. So we encourage Kamala Harris to continue her press tour, to continue her speaking tour, to go to college campuses and continue to talk to young people, because every single time that she speaks to the next generation, Republicans flood in this direction. And it's a great, great move for our party.
Yeah, finally, Ben Shapiro calling Charlie Kirk a right-wing warrior. Watch.
But the reality, of course, is that Charlie was, in fact, a right-wing warrior, and pretending otherwise would be silly. He was somebody who engaged in the political combat that is a blood sport that characterizes our politics. And, you know, again, I think that pretending that Charlie was some sort of apolitical figure would be to ignore part of his legacy, which is that he was a very partisan fighter in a very partisan time.
He was partisan, and it is a partisan time, but that's not to say that he wasn't fair in the way that he went about these discussions on college campuses.
Yeah, no, he was definitely a political figure. He was discussing politics.
Right.
But he did it with such humanity, and that's something we really don't see. I mean, he's the only person I mean, you know, his videos are bigger now than ever. You watch him, and it's like, no matter how horrible the person on the other side is, you're like, he really cares about them. Yep. Like, he actually wants them to be better and to change for the better and be happier and be healthier. And it's like, I just don't see that, you know, so much, and it's so heartbreaking. But he was just more than, I don't know. He was very godlike, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
A beautiful person.
I can't count how many times that somebody would come up and say F you to him, and he would say, well, I want you to look at it like this.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, time after time. Brilyn, Emily, thank you both.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.